So the first 2 episodes of Kenobi are out on Disney+, and so far, the show is off to a rougher start than me when I drink a little too much Kool-Aid before bedtime. To enlighten you as to why, let me go through the plot of the first 2 episodes. Obviously there'll be spoilers. Kenobi kicks off with a little montage of Order 66, and a bunch of younglings running away through the temple as the Jedi are being slaughtered. Credit to the writers, this scene is really well done, and shows how off guard the Jedi were caught by Order 66. Fast forward 10 years, and Obi-Wan is hiding out on Tatooine, living in a cave and watching over Luke. Suddenly, the Inquisitors come down to find a Jedi that's not Obi-Wan that they believe to be hiding on Tatooine. They flush him out and are about to catch him, but suddenly, one of the Inquisitors almost kills him. The head Inquisitor stops her, and they let the Jedi get away for no apparent reason. Like they actually watched him run away.
What the heck?
I believe, if I recall correctly, that one of the things that users of the Force have is the ability to move things with their mind. You're just gonna watch him run and be like, well, we tried. Couldn't you just use the Force to drag him back to you? It makes no sense. Anyway, whatever. Obi-Wan is trying to guide Luke towards the ways of the Jedi from a distance. Owen makes it clear that he doesn't want Obi-Wan interfering in Luke's life because of what happened to Anakin. But while they're talking, that pesky Inquisitor shows up. That's right, the one who let the other Jedi get away. She has a name, by the way, but I can't remember what it is because the show does no character building for her whatsoever. Let's call her, I don't know, Kate. Kate conveniently singles Owen out of the crowd that's gathered and threatens to kill his family unless he gives up any information that he has about a Jedi in the area. Owen stays quiet, and obviously Kate doesn't kill his family. That will come later. Anyway, cut over to 10-year-old Princess Leia of Alderaan, who stars in some scene that is wildly irrelevant to the plot as a whole and only exists to show that number 1, she likes running away, number 2, she loves to run away into the woods, number 3, her parents spoil her by not making her follow rules that are vital to her safety as a princess, such as, oh, I don't know, don't run off into the woods alone, and number 4, she's wildly snarky, unbearably annoying, and the definition of writers not understanding how children act. Unsurprisingly, she gets kidnapped in what is possibly the worst chase scene that I've ever seen in any form of cinema. Seriously, she's a 10-year-old girl, and you're 3 grown men who don't have the physical capacity to not run into branches? Whatever, I guess. Her kidnappers take her off-world, and she still doesn't seem to understand the gravity of the situation. She has been kidnapped, and there's a very good chance that she will never see anyone she loves ever again. Seriously, most full-grown adults would be broken and miserable in this scenario, and she's still cracking bangers. What a spoiled brat. You know, I was always under the impression that the Star Wars franchise had learned their lesson when it came to including children. The fandom hated young Anakin Skywalker and made that very clear, and yet somehow, someway, this little girl is more insufferable than young Annie was. You do not understand how impossible I thought that was. Oh well. Her father, Bail Organa, travels to Tatooine to find Obi-Wan. He begs him to find Leia and says that Obi-Wan is the only person he trusts. Why exactly does Obi-Wan need to do this? Apparently, Bail believes that there is some threat that if a random and honestly probably more qualified bounty hunter does this, they will learn that Leia is Anakin Skywalker's daughter.
What the heck?
There's literally no one in the galaxy that knows Leia is Anakin's daughter, or that Anakin even had a daughter for that matter. And even if someone does question where Bail got Leia, it would be so easy to make something up. It honestly just feels like lazy writing and doesn't really make sense for the overall plot. Anyway, moving on. Obi-Wan is very reluctant to do it though, because he has to stay and watch over Luke. But Bail convinces him by, I don't know, saying pretty please. There really doesn't feel like much of a reason for Obi-Wan to do it, especially when there's a galaxy of bounty hunters who love nothing more than to help Bail out for the right price. Yes, Bail doesn't want to make the kidnapping public, but in the Outer Rim, it feels like you'd be hard-pressed to find a bounty hunter who would know the specifics of Alderaanian royalty, but the plot needs it to happen, so it does. The episode ends with Obi-Wan grabbing his lightsaber and heading out. For some reason, he decides to strap it on where Jedi used to have their lightsabers. In other words, in plain view of everyone. You know, there's a middle ground between burying it in the middle of the desert and walking around with it in plain view of everyone. Not to Obi-Wan, I guess. In the last scene, it's revealed that Kate has hired Leia's kidnappers to kidnap Leia to try to draw Obi-Wan out of hiding, because according to her, Obi-Wan knew Bail like 10 years ago, so it made sense that Bail would personally ask him to find his daughter.
What the actual freaking heck?
Are you telling me that Kate knows so much about human psychology that she can play 2 individual people like a game of chess? What if Bail hires a bounty hunter? What if he doesn't figure out that Leia was kidnapped, since the kidnappers didn't leave any clues behind that they'd taken her? And most importantly, if you know that Bail Organa is in contact with Obi-Wan, why not just take Bail directly? Even if he refused to tell you where he is, you could use other methods, as we'll see in episode 2, and you've already proven that you're willing to take drastic extreme steps in order to get what you want by, oh, I don't know, kidnapping a 10-year-old girl? Whatever. On to episode 2. Leia's kidnappers take her to Daiyu, a random planet that reminds me of Las Vegas. Obi-Wan follows her because Bail has somehow tracked the ship. Again, it seems like hiring a bounty hunter would have been the perfect move here. Obi-Wan finds a scam artist pretending to be a Jedi who's getting people off planet secretly for a hefty fee. This makes no sense. Why would you risk the wrath of the Empire by pretending to be a Jedi to impress people who frankly wouldn't care? You could just be a normal guy who gets people off-world for a hefty fee. Oh well. Obi-Wan calls him out, and fake Jedi tells Obi-Wan where to find Leia. It's a trap, and Obi-Wan gets captured by Leia's kidnappers. I'm saying captured in quotes because it's literally the dumbest scenario ever. Did Kate really think think that 3 random guys who are barely able to kidnap a 10-year-old girl were going to be able to contain a Jedi Master? Unsurprisingly, Obi-Wan escapes and rescues Leia, who is still completely calm and snarky for a 10-year-old girl who has just been, oh I don't know, kidnapped and transported far away from her loved ones for multiple days in a row with no sign that anyone is coming to save her. Sure. Anyway, the more skilled, rational, and competent Inquisitors are really mad that Kate is kidnapped a senator's daughter. As punishment, the head Inquisitor tells her that her services are no longer needed, and he's going to take the credit for the capture of Obi-Wan. In a temper tantrum that would make a 6-year-old jealous, Kate alerts the whole planet that Obi-Wan is there and on the loose. She offers a large reward for his capture. Obi-Wan and Leia hide out in an alley, and Leia finds out that the planet is looking for Obi-Wan. Her 10-year-old brain somehow makes the insane connection that Obi-Wan is actually the one who's a threat to her, and that he doesn't know her father and he's not a Jedi. Why does she assume this? Because earlier, he had refused to, and I kid you not, make her levitate in the crowded streets with the entire planet looking for them. Sure, makes absolute sense. Anyway, moving on. Remember how earlier I said that this was the worst chase scene in cinema? Yeah, I lied. This takes the cake. It is by far one of the most poorly executed things I've ever seen. There have been politicians more believable than this scene. Somehow, 10-year-old Leia manages to outrun Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of the most powerful and experienced Jedi Masters in the entire galaxy, for like 10 minutes. I mean, there's a scene where she's within arm's reach and he watches helplessly as she continues to run away. She jumps off a rooftop like 10 stories up for some reason, and he is forced to catch her with the Force. Then she sees the light and realizes that he was actually telling the truth. He is some Jedi after all. Praise be. They get approached by the random Jedi imposter from earlier, and for some freaking random reason, he wants to help them. I'm sorry, weren't you scamming people for money like 20 minutes ago? What possibly could have given you this change of heart? Anyway, he promises them safe passage off the planet and goes to distract Kate, who has somehow narrowed in on their position. He talks to her for a minute, and for some entirely unknown reason, she doesn't kill him where he stands. She realizes that he knows where Obi-Wan went, so she pins him against the wall and reads his mind.
What the actual frickety rickety fruck?
You're saying that you could have read minds at any time? Then why didn't you do it to Owen on Tatooine, the one person you singled out in that crowd? Is there any reason that you should trust people to tell you the truth? And more importantly, why not do it to Bail Organa instead of going through all this trouble to lure Obi-Wan out of hiding? Would a better plan not have been to capture Bail, read his mind, and then go wait in Obi-Wan's cave where he doesn't have his lightsaber or any real way to defend himself? This is actually one of the dumbest plot points ever, and it opens up a ton of plot holes and inconsistencies. Oh well. She corners Obi-Wan and claims that she can feel his presence. Gee, I can't think of another time when that could have been useful. Kate somehow knows that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader and tells Obi-Wan. How does she know this closely guarded secret that the Emperor certainly wouldn't go around telling any old person who asked? It's not important. Anyway, Kate is distracted because she's busy killing her superior officer, the main Inquisitor, because, I don't know, he pissed her off or something, and then watches helplessly as Obi-Wan escapes with Leia. And that's the end of the second episode. I don't even know where to start with this. The only really good actor in this is Ewan McGregor, with everyone else being mediocre or bad. Kate in particular is really annoying and uninteresting. I got the feeling that she was cast less because of her superior acting ability, and more because Disney is looking to make Star Wars a little more diverse. Listen, I got no problem whatsoever with a black woman playing the third Inquisitor, but you're really telling me that this is the best you got? She's wildly unenthusiastic, unconvincing, and blander than my daily lard medication. Also, she's an incredibly badly written character. You'd think that an Inquisitor would be menacing and inspire fear, but Kate's annoying and completely unintimidating. When she tries to act threatening, it comes off as comedic. And instead of being calm and collected, she's brash and makes hasty, poorly planned decisions. I'm not making that up. That's an actual plot point that the other Inquisitors chide her for. Overall, she's really bad. And then there's the most annoying character in the show herself, Princess Leia. I already said this, but it's incredible to me that Star Wars cannot understand that children are not good actors and should be left out of the story whenever possible. The show desperately tries to make her seem strong and unafraid of anything that happens to her, and in exchange, it's almost impossible to take her seriously. But Jedward, you handsome, quick-witted devil, I hear you saying as you hit the subscribe button, wouldn't you be as fearless and cocky as her if you were kidnapped at 10 years old? No, dear viewer, I wouldn't be. Kidnapping is one of the scariest concepts, no matter what age you are, and yet somehow, Leia brushes it off like some minor inconvenience that's getting in the way of her daily tea parties. It's simply unfathomable. Also, more importantly, she's a freaking annoying character. In summary, the first 2 episodes of Kenobi are badly written, inconsistent messes, with the only sliver of light being Obi-Wan himself. Hopefully it'll get better, because I was really looking forward to the show. I don't know, man. So far, Kenobi's not looking too good. You know what else isn't looking too good? Matt Reeves is the Batman. You need to check out my review of it right here, because unlike most simpletons, I didn't think it was that good. Anyway, subscribe.